listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Cosmos After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Cosmos After Show.
Okay, we have no idea what Marissa's going to surprise us with. Ladies and gentlemen, AfterBuzz TV Nation, that is the one and only lovely Bill Murray and his rendition of Star Wars. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Cosmos, the Spacetime Odyssey, Episode 3. And this one was called When Knowledge Conquered Fear. I'm JC, and of course, let us introduce our wonderful host, starting with... Wait, should we start with the new edition?
We should start with the new edition here.
All right. From Beaumont, Texas, I'll let you do the introductions, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Dillon Chance. Yes, I may be from Texas, but I've been in LA for the last 7 years, so...
Oh, wow.
You can consider me a Los Angelan now.
And a super fan of
super
Cosmos.
Fan. Yes, I love it. I love it so much.
You were telling me before we went on air that you actually have like a thing on, is it on Facebook? Or?
Yeah, I'm a co-runner of sorts with my girlfriend. We run a Facebook page where we just find and share lots of space-related information from other sites, you know, and just sources. And sometimes I'll go off and do my own little research and just, you know, write up little, you know, tidbits of information for people. Cool. It's all quick facts. It's facebook.com/A Cosmic Perspective.
Ooh. See, so, and of
Right
course,
there.
my partner in crime. That's right. We've been here since the late '80s.
Yeah.
Scott Moore.
right.
But Scott, come on, we haven't even talked about the stuff that you do outside of AfterBuzz, because you do some stuff outside of the whole AfterBuzz. You got this science thing going on.
Well,
Come on.
my little nerd credit being
Yes.
weather geek,
Yes.
chairman of the LA chapter of the American Meteorological Society. Yeah.
Nice. And I'm just the token Latino who talks white. All right. And of course, no show would be complete without our lady stats, Marissa Serafini. What's going on?
Hello, everyone. Hello, all you guys.
Hello.
And excuse me, you look fantastic.
I was gonna say I was like particularly lovely this
Thank
evening.
you.
Yes.
Please, if you guys are watching us live on AfterBuzzTV.com, say how awesome Marissa looks tonight. Yes, but if you're not watching us
You
live,
guys are so sweet.
I'm telling you. If you're not watching us live, make sure to go to
Yeah,
iTunes, YouTube. Let us know what you think. Send us your feedback, which we know you do.
We do, and we've actually, I was gonna say, I've really enjoyed a lot of the comments that have been posted. You know, it's been great to have all this interaction. So, guys, keep it up.
Absolutely, yeah. We've got a lot of, creationists actually really, you know, and we're just telling you what we see on the show. I'm not necessarily telling you what I believe or I don't believe. I'm just a fan of the show and from its perspective. And I think that's what they're doing. So,
Right.
you know, we do welcome the opinions, and, you know, it is told from a scientific from background just in science. If it was done, let's see, to appease the creationists, wouldn't it just be called faith?
Might be. That's pretty...
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I agree with you. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like what we're saying here is basically we might throw in a little of our own biases here and there, but I think for the most part we're trying to be open-minded about in general what the show is trying to tell.
Yes, and I mean, I'm even going to probably talk to our EP to see if maybe we can get someone from the creationist side, perhaps, to talk about their point of view, even though the show itself isn't going that route, but we don't have any rules or regulations, but we're open. We're, like Dr. Tyson said himself, question everything and keep open. You know, so with that said, let's get into tonight.
Let's do it.
Overall thoughts. Dillon, you've been jumping at the bit for weeks to come in to tell us.
Yes.
What did you think about tonight, man? What'd you both think?
Every episode. Have loved every episode so far. I love this series. It's great. I've been waiting for this for years. Tonight especially was great just because we get to learn so much about Isaac Newton. Like I thought they really covered him and how how much detail they went into and about Halley and the comet. Oh, it was great.
Yeah, so it's Scott, because you're the stats guy, so I know you.
No, I was thinking I need the Cliff's Notes version after tonight's episode.
Yeah.
There's just so much that
So
they packed in there. I feel like I had to watch it again just to be able to get all this information down of all the details of all these different scientists, and it was a lot of stuff to cover in a short amount of time here.
Yeah, and see, and we're working on hopefully getting the episodes slightly in advance so that we can do that research, because how do we explain something that Dr. Tyson explains so eloquently?
Right.
What can we add instead
Right.
of does?
Yeah.
Especially because we watch it and walk right in here.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
do
that was
the show.
amazing.
Yeah.
And so we're working on that so that we can give you guys little extra tidbits. And I did pick up a few little factoids along the
Sure.
way. So I've got little stuff, because you asked before we went on, Scott, about about Robert Hooke. And I've got a short little snippet on him that I was able to get before we walked in. So I'm a little bit of a tease. So if people want to find out about the crotchety, as he was portrayed on
He
the
was.
series.
Crotchety old jerk.
And he was played by, help me with his last name. He was in The Princess Bride and the movie Hot Shot. He was Carrie Elwes.
Oh, yeah. No.
Is he from Once Upon a Time?
No, he was in Princess Bride. He played,
Yeah.
As You Wish.
How do you say his name, though? I know. I was trying to think
His
that too.
last name
As
is
You Wish.
it's like Carrie Elwes.
Yeah,
was
it's
all-
like Eels.
He was in Hard Candy.
He was
with,
also in Twisted. He played the a-hole in that movie.
Yes.
That was good that you picked up on that, because his voice sounded recognizable to me, but I wouldn't have ever thought it was him.
Well, I'm going to cook your brain even more, because not only
It's already cooked, don't worry.
he not only did he play Halley, he was also the voice of I forgot his name already. Hook. He was the voice of both. Yes, that wasn't him though.
No, that wasn't, but I had to.
Yeah, but
He
he played both voices. I don't know if you guys picked up on that
Wow.
on the episode.
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
I did
so-
not.
See,
yeah.
now you guys are. Now we
I know.
really have to watch.
That's why I said my brain was already cooked. There's no.
I was writing down facts.
Sorry, that's why I have you guys. I pick up the nonsense. You guys pick up the facts. I thought Marissa was going to chime in. Well, so let's dive. So what did we learn about pattern recognition and comets and the fact that they come from the Oort cloud, and once again we cannot see the Oort cloud, but we know that it's there.
It's there. Mm-hmm.
And the fact that Dr. Tyson brought up the fact that more people know the names of serial killers than the name of the man who actually came up with.
Yeah, the theory for the Oort cloud. and-
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty scary.
Yeah, no, and so what did we learn about? We don't even want to get into Hale Bopp,
Yeah. Oh, not.
Yeah.
No, let's not talk about that.
but it's funny how throughout history, comets are only seen as a sign of death and destruction.
Right.
And in a slight way, I think once again, in an indirect way, they're pointing out the fact that we fear what we do not know,
Right.
Yes.
and we leave it up to. To me, it seemed like another jab at the institution of religion, inadvertently, just kind of like discrediting. We have to make it up that it's by some other creator,
Right.
because the comets in the past are bringing that the gods were angry at us.
Yes. Because people like answers, and people, when they have something so big and unexplained, they turn to the only thing that gives them some sort of answer, and that is that there is a higher power causing this to either punish us or just because they're angry for some reason, or like they said, to predict doomsday, basically.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of what you were saying too. A lot of people they want to be comforted by knowing what they can't explain, and I also think people, and still even today, people tend to go more negative. It's like people are thinking negatively about themselves and their situations sometimes. Like, oh, I'm not going to get that job, or this isn't going to happen. But when it comes to things like that, it's like comets just represented something negative. Why couldn't it have been the human emotion like, oh, it's going to mean 50 years of great
good luck.
abundance. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
it's like it's interesting that we automatically go to the negative of thinking that these things that we couldn't explain are going to represent
Right.
something bad.
A comet flies by, and then they go, "Oh wow, we're having a drought. It was because of the
Yeah.
comet."
Right.
So
And it's been done since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
So maybe they should bring like maybe someone that'll psychoanalyze us as humans, why we tend to think in the negative, always. And we haven't learned much because last year there was a comet that was supposed to hit us in November, I believe. and I wish I could look up the name, but we're getting no internet reception
Yeah.
right now. And it was supposed to hit, I believe it was around Christmas time of last year, and the name is it's escaping me now. I want to say Osiris, but it's something similar to that fact. So we may want to look it up.
Okay.
After. But yeah, another comet
If
that was.
anybody knows out there, definitely let us know too.
Yes, absolutely. I just have no access, guys. So, and I don't know if I said hi to everyone live. I think I already did, but like I said, send us your comments, what you think. So, now this brings us to the comet of 1664.
Yes, the comet of 1664. Where were my notes on that?
And this is where, and this is of course after the spaceship, the spaceship of the imagination explained what comets were and whatnot. And
I loved the fact that they were talking about over 40,000 generations of humanity.
Yep, yeah.
There were over 100,000 comets in human history, and they were always just like signs of doom.
yes,
So 100,000 comets go by, and people are still like, "Oh God."
no, and they explained it. I don't know if they said it on the show, but what I do know about comets, the fact is that the long tail of it is also described as a woman's hair. That's in ancient times. That's what they would describe it as. So, which brings me to the
1664.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Haley. Haley as a young little boy. That he was always an explorer.
I
and
love this.
what-
Hell's bells.
Hell's bells.
Yeah, I never knew that saying existed back
don't
then
think
either.
it-
I've heard of it, but I just thought it was funny that somehow he was the one saying it when he was a kid, and then when he was a grown up, he was saying it too. Like, it's just pretty funny. Like, why did they decide to do that? Was he known for saying that?
And the interesting way that life works, that in the end, what he's most known for was something he never got to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I know. It was like indirectly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everything.
Well, I
It's
do
named
think-
after
I do
him.
think it's interesting too because just if I was to look up at a comet, because again I'm not as intelligent as these people, I would never think that it was the same one. Just think, oh, there's all these comets. I would never even thought that it would come back around again, and you'd be able to do these calculations, and it would. That's what I think is pretty incredible, especially because of Halley's comet. Like all these other comets don't come back for thousands of years. Halley's comet's the only one that can actually come back twice in a person's lifetime potentially. Well, once for you.
Once for
Because you missed the first
I
one
missed
in the
the
80s.
first one. Ugh.
You never know, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I know, I'm just kidding. Once we're living to 500 years or so.
So then, what I want to get into is the triangle then of Robert Hooke.
And
Yeah,
Isaac
it was
I'm sorry, I lost train of thought right now, and that's never happened to me in the 13 years I've been here at AfterBuzz.
But see, now everyone knows that it's live, which is great.
Maybe it's the fact because was it Hooke or Haley that they talked about that they had a glaucoma problem? They would smoke weed.
Yes.
yeah, they said they
Which one of the three?
experimented with cannabis. That was
It
Hook.
was Hook, yeah.
It was Hooke.
Yeah.
So Hooke,
Hook experimented with a lot of things. Seems like
Yes.
wormwood.
but he
Mercury.
was behind so many great things as well.
Yeah, it also just proves that, no matter what industry you're in, we always talk about entertainment with our drama. You got the drama with the scientists too.
Yeah.
Right. So
So
no
now they're
matter-
cooking up some drama between him and Newton. Definitely lots of stuff there. I feel like you could have had a reality show back then if there was such a thing between those guys.
I like that. To go back to the cannabis, the thing he said was when he was experimenting with cannabis was that it was harmless, except that it may cause a few laughs.
Yeah, yes, that was great.
That's pretty
Man,
funny.
way ahead of his time
Yes, he was already on the legalization.
there. Yes.
track.
Yeah, and that's what cracks me up. Also, that the fact that that the people behind the show decided to mention that fact. That's what I'm saying. I do feel that they are inadvertently laying in something. There's some social commentary.
Yeah. Okay.
Along the way.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm
a
definitely-
little bit right.
Slightly.
And adding a little more dimension to a lot of these people that you ended up learning about in school, that were pretty boring and dry. Like everything you'd learned from Newton, I never knew about all of his mystic side that he was
Yeah,
into.
I didn't know that either.
and-
Like he was into alchemy
yeah, like all that stuff. I mean, that's fascinating, and you
and
just
Bible
don't learn that.
conspiracies.
yes.
And tried to calculate the second coming, and it was very fascinating. Like that, he had all this other side to him that we never really learned about in school.
I guess the sides of an inventor, and in the fact that Dillon just said that he, with the second coming, and he couldn't prove it as well. So,
But he tried. So
Yes.
it kind of split, in a sense with the religion. And here was a guy, and I think that's what a lot of people in that time period were able to embrace science a little bit more, because it was kind of like took us out of the Middle Ages. But here was a guy that was very big on his religion and was able still to be able to say, well, this can be part of the religion with this. I'm just helping prove like the mathematical formula. So it was sort of like taking it in tandem there. But again, like he couldn't find the elixir of life he was trying to do, and he wasn't able to calculate the second coming quite yet.
Couldn't turn anything into gold.
No. No, and also with Newton, I think Neil deGrasse Tyson even said himself that when asked who's the greatest inventor of all time, he's the greatest scientist of all time. He says Thomas Newton. I can't even think today. Just Isaac Newton. And after watching tonight's episode, I have to agree. Just he is at the forefront of everything.
Right.
Yes.
Right. That theory of gravity. I mean, when you think
that's
about
pretty
it,
big.
that is big. That proves so much. And again, like they were saying, and it really did. It led the groundwork to be able to have, the ability to be able to do space travel hundreds of years
He
in
created
the future.
calculus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
And how old was he? I think he was like 26 or 24 when he created it.
yeah, he was young.
It was supposedly on a dare. That's the story. There was some sort of dare that he had, and that's where it came to be. So yeah, on a dare.
How
when it-
dare you to create
Yeah.
calculus? Okay.
And be able to make kids hundreds of years into the future.
Suffer in high school.
People here at AfterBuzz dare me to drink 2 beers in a row, and I consider that an accomplishment. And this guy's creating a whole math system that we base our whole lives on.
I know, and so especially when he invented it in his 20s, like, man, it's already too late for me now.
Kinda
I'm already past my prime.
What did I do?
Yeah, you would think after that, like, where do I go from here? Yeah.
Nothing but downhill from here.
No, but also now the thing about Hook and that he was, I hate to relate it in such trivial forms of maybe vanity and things of this nature, but Dr. Tyson described him that one of the ways he was described was as ugly and whatnot, and he was, and this is what I had read up on him, that he was actually born disfigured,
Oh.
and that's let me read. Yes, he was born 7 years before Newton, orphaned at the age of 13 because his father hung himself. Wow, and by then he had also survived smallpox, which had left him badly disfigured.
Oh.
So, and later, then he slept with his niece, and he had an affair, and so yeah.
Yeah,
So this
like-
guy was like a reality show unto himself, even way back then.
Yes, he
Reality
was.
show on steroids.
Yeah, even with Newton too, I had no idea about his childhood.
Oh yeah, he had a rough childhood.
Like I had no idea. Again, you don't learn the kind of details and dimensions of these people. You only learn about the dry, like, theory of gravity, and you didn't know like he went through
Well, they
his
say
mom
that-
leaving him and coming back.
Right, and they said that Newton's life is described in a tale of two halves. And that first half when he was the recluse, and after his mom passed away, and at the same time, his roommate of I think it was of many years ended up leaving him as well, and that's what had him in that spiral where he became that recluse.
Yeah, he was very introverted.
Yes.
But on the flip side of that, I mean, maybe it's a cool thing because it helped him to focus on all of these
Yes.
theories and things
Right.
that he may not have done if he was going out and partying every night like me. So
And,
that's see, I could have applied myself
And smoking
So-
cannabis with Hook.
Right. So see, I mean, there's some good. There could be in that sense the good side of the fact that he was able to do these things because of what he had to go through.
It's one of I'm totally paraphrasing this, but Einstein said it himself. It's the life of isolation it's a great thing because through that comes invention. So that's backing up what you're saying about Newton. So anything else that we can say about the relationship? Well, it started as the bet. There was the wager about
Who can solve the mathematical equation to figure out why the planets orbit the sun?
right.
Yeah.
And then Hook thought he swore he had it.
Oh, I've got it.
Yes, and then needless to say, he did it, and then the rest is history and the friendship and it's just fantastic getting these layers of these people where before today, like I said, I've covered tons. Marissa will attest. I've done 3 billion reality show after shows on AfterBuzz, but never anything like this.
Right.
And now I have this voracious appetite for science.
Yes.
And but back a few weeks ago, all I knew Newton for was an apple falling on his head.
Right.
Right.
That same thing. That's like I knew the theory of gravity, and
Or
that's what I
just
love
apple
about. I love that they're giving these layers to these people, and also just that little bit of history too, because I'm a big history nerd too. I loved that there they were in London, and they're talking about the coffee houses, and that was the great equalizer, and people could go and talk about the stuff. And I thought I knew a lot about London history and everything, and I had no idea those were going on there.
People hanging
Yeah,
out in coffee houses.
Yeah,
in
I
the
was like, hey, I
17th
thought it was
century.
tea. Wasn't tea the big thing there? I mean, that's what.
Coffee was the drug of
Apparently,
choice.
it was the drug of choice. And so I thought that was really interesting too, and like that's where these coffee house wagers would come in effect, and these guys would get together and debate things. And I think that's really a neat thing too.
Now people get together in coffee houses and open up their Macs and
Exactly, nobody's talking.
type
they're
away.
disconnected, sure.
Disconnected
Yeah.
from everyone.
Yeah.
And the fact that you brought up London again, I just want to bring up the production side of the show itself. It's how beautiful were the shots of the locations when he was in front of the Dr. Tyson was in front of the Eiffel
Wow,
Tower,
and Cambridge there.
Yeah,
I mean,
Cambridge,
oh my
yeah.
God.
and just the shots once
was like,
again.
ah,
Kudos to Bill
love that.
Pope and the way just the show's being shot,
Mm-hmm.
and that's definitely. There's so many things going on. This is a series we have to watch again and again.
I can't wait to watch it all again. Probably like 5 more times.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously, because there's going to be things to pick up every time there.
So then,
so much.
So then now do we move on from the bet being created and the other things that Halley was behind of applying Newton's law?
Yeah, Haley was behind a lot of things too. I mean, it was pretty great. Like all the different things he invented, and
I think I threw did I jump ahead? Chance, just bust me if I did. Man.
No, you're going good. I was just reading my notes to see what I could chime in with.
No, I'm just making this up as we go along. No, but it was.
What I did find
Yes.
interesting,
No.
was when Haley went to Isaac and said, "Oh, we need your help," blah blah blah, and Isaac was like just casually like, "Oh yeah, I did that 5 years ago." Hold on, I can't find it. Too much stuff. Guess what? I'll redo it.
yeah,
no
yeah,
big
no
deal.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, but did he do it differently from the first time? I think I thought I had read it somehow that he went at it. His approach is different. I don't know if that was. in my
I took it as that as well, but
He probably refined. it.
yeah, I was gonna say that's how I took it. Is like he refined it when he went back to do it a second time, and
I just can't get my notes
Yeah.
from it. So, but what I was going to say is that the fact that he's and the fact that did he supplant Dr. Hook as the chairman of the Royal Society of in England? And that's where I got lost. Where
Oh, the picture scene.
yes,
Oh,
No, that was
that was-
talking about after their death.
yeah, wasn't it Haley that?
No,
did
that
or
was Isaac Newton taking
That
revenge.
wasn't. But who was the one that took over? Because there was somebody that took over. I thought it was
Robert Hook.
Haley. Yeah, I thought after he died though.
yes, because
When he died, because he was fairly young when he passed away. He was only like in his 30s and or 40s. I thought it was Haley that took over that job.
this is the problem of us going on 5 minutes
I know.
after.
See, that's what we need to know, guys. Was it Haley that took over the job? Which also, again, that was a great setup too.
I
with all
imagine
that.
that it had to be because they said Haley worked up until what, his 70s or
85.
80s?
Yeah, he was 85.
And-
Took that last sip of
Oh
wine.
man, that's awesome. That
What
sounds
a
like
way to
good
go,
way
right? Take a last sip of wine. Then I was thinking, was it poisoned?
No.
I was like, did Hook come back and poison him? No.
Now you're just like a Hook conspiracy.
I know, right?
Hook
No, he was
conspiracy.
long gone, but yeah. I'm like, now I'm doing the conspiracy theory. But
It
I mean, it's too good.
It
I'm
was
like,
Hook's ghost.
yeah.
Yes. No, but we also failed to mention that Haley did invent the weather map, population
Yes.
statistics.
Oh yes.
Well, the population thing I thought was really fascinating too. About the whole thing, like, oh, they need to have 4 children. A couple had to have 4 children to keep population growing,
Because they said like half of all adults don't have kids.
and
or-
then they either lose their kids before they're at the age to be able to have their own kids. I mean, it was fascinating to think that he was able to do that, and that he physically walked the perimeter of Paris. I mean, how crazy is that?
yeah.
Very cool. Like that kind of stuff is very cool.
And that kind of showed how much of a boss he was because
Yeah.
he would put himself in harm's way and for the sake of the experiment, for the sake of
Right,
science.
and like he went, he invented the diving bell and went
Went
and he
underwater.
put himself, and that was the cool thing too. He put himself at risk. He's like, I'm inventing this. I'm not going to put other people there. And he went out to St. Helena Island, to map the stars in the southern hemisphere, and he had to go, and that's way out there in the middle of
Way
the
down.
Atlantic, of the southern Atlantic Ocean, like middle of nowhere.
So
So went
wait-
out there to do that. And that's pretty cool.
What I'm gathering here, we see scientists as the person that's behind the books. They're buried
Right.
in the books, and what we need to see is that you gotta. No offense, sorry, Mercy, you may have to believe me. They have balls. No, because they're
Yeah.
putting themselves for the sake of science.
they're putting out. They have to go out in the field. They got to experiment, and
Yeah.
they got to do what they got to do to make sure they can prove their theories right or wrong. In which case, whatever
I'm
it might be.
learning. I'm learning. You guys are teaching
No,
me.
no, I am. No, I'm learning. I'm learning so much. Like
We're
I
all
said, all
learning
these layers. I
from
mean, there's so
Cosmos.
many things. So many things.
And also I'm trying to anything that might have, stood out to me. The fact that from 1472 to 1698, Halley he researched comets. I love that he didn't need Google because there was no Google.
Yeah.
Right.
And so he had to go painstakingly go through book
Right.
after book after book.
Which again is so fascinating to me because the thing that that people would think, wow, these comets are the same, and to know with that wide of a gap between of when they reappear that they were the same thing in fact, and not just something else just going across the sky. I thought that was really incredible.
Think about how many things he had to read and maps and things he had to study to figure out that this is the same comet.
And no pictures.
Yeah, no pictures,
obviously,
drawings.
Nothing that you could refer to like we have today to even know that it was the same thing.
So
it's incredible.
It was probably obviously like something going, well, in this part of the sky, a comet flew by. And then, 200 years later, he's reading, in this part of the sky, a comet flew by. And he's like, it's coming by in the same spot. And he starts putting the patterns together and then figures it out.
Which once again brings us to the whole purpose of the episode, pattern recognition.
Yep.
Right.
So this is a perfect button. Honestly, but what I noticed today, it seems like the first two episodes, Scott, I don't know if you noticed, and Dillon wasn't here for them, that there was a lot more to talk about. It seemed like today was mainly centered between the relationship between Newton and Halley and the voyage of comets.
Mm-hmm.
And outside of that, usually we have a lot more to pull from. And this week I didn't feel as much.
No, I didn't feel like there was as much other stuff going on. I just felt it was a lot to cover with these several men and their accomplishments. It was a lot of facts, a lot of details, a lot of layers with them. But you're right, there wasn't as much going out and dealing with a bunch of other things.
The reason I say that is because the first 2 weeks we got some feedback, and we had mentioned the fact, I had mentioned that if the episodes felt disjointed to me, because, last week when they went to Titan, and I felt it might have been random. Why didn't they go to a different moon, let's say the moon Europa, or on Jupiter, somewhere else?
Well, that was because they were talking about evolution, right? And they were talking about how water is the source of all life, and they were talking about how Titan is one of the only known places in our solar system that has water, that we've seen water on.
Right, that could
possibly. It was like, because it was the gases are different, and it was frozen. It wasn't water that we think of because
it's liquid methane.
Methane, exactly. So it's completely different. I mean, again, going back to that episode, I felt it was disjointed like you did, but I see, looking back at it, okay, that's why they chose it, why they did. But I thought at the time it seemed weird to pick something that was totally different. I thought it was interesting because, again, it's a totally different way of looking. Like, maybe life, again, isn't just created the way we think it is. It could be created in a totally different way with, different gases and different, liquids and such. And that we had to open our minds again to more than just, thinking we're the only type of living type structure out there in the entire universe.
Okay, no, the reason I brought it up was because I believe usually the show's divided into threes in the first two episodes.
Yeah.
And this one seemed like
3 acts there, yeah.
Yeah, and this one just seems like it was just their relationship and comets. And did I miss something? That's what I want to know.
No, I think it was basically the relationship because they were all around that same period of time, but it was also about the things that they invented that helped propel us forward into being able to have the ability to, like with Newton with gravity and
they talked about
be able to go and have space travel, and all these things were basically the basis for how we are able to basically get off the chains of gravity here and be able to leave the planet and explore and know what's beyond. So.
Right, and get us up into space.
Right, and just in general, like they were help propel us forward in that whole understanding of the universe outside of us.
There were so many things that I didn't know so many things that we use today that just like these three dudes invented. Like the foundations of almost all of our science was these three dudes in a coffee house, talking about like trying to figure out gravity.
Right.
And they get gravity and the orbits of the planets and calculus and that Hooke invented that one microscope and he discovered the cell. There's so much that these guys did.
Right.
It's amazing.
So hopefully it'll lead us to the solving of dark matter, finding out that's what we want to figure out. I think that's what's next. So basically, because we've always said we fear what we don't understand.
Yeah.
We do not understand dark matter, dark energy. Because I'm trying to move our conversation now because we've already rehashed the hell out of it.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's next? So through those foundations, through that, and like this week we found out the gravitational waves about the beginning of the Big Bang. I don't know if you guys read that.
Oh
read
yes,
that in the
yeah. I
news.
Yes.
read all about that. That was great.
Yeah, what did you guys gather from that? Like, I'm still trying to piece it all together because we still don't know what happened. Is there such a thing as pre-Big Bang?
Well, exactly. That's the whole thing. Is just like we still don't know, like we've talked about, how life actually originates. The same thing. Like, was there something before the Big Bang? And because we don't even know the size of the universe,
there's just theories about that.
there's the theories, exactly, and we don't know,
Yeah.
and we don't even know the exact size of the universe and what else could be out there and how that area might be. I mean, that's what's so mind-boggling. We have no idea.
I like
There's so much vastness out there.
the big bounce theory. That's the theory that instead of a big bang, it was a bounce, as in it came from another universe,
right.
went down, boom, bounced out to another universe.
Yeah, I heard it like a spillage from a different multiverse, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
for like another universe in the multiverse. That's the big bounce theory.
Yeah, it's
All
in a
right.
nutshell.
crazy.
So we always like to give a question. So what's your theory, guys, on dark matter? No. What,
Well, I was gonna expand on the cosmic inflation, which is what they were talking about this week, the
Sure.
physics discovery. I like one of the fun facts that I read was that the universe was like the size of a pinhole, right?
Yeah.
And in less than a blink of an eye, it expanded 100 trillion times. Oh, that's so fast and so huge. It's just-
Well, I know. I mean, the fast is
It's
so huge. I
amazing.
mean, you can't even comprehend that. You cannot comprehend that.
comprehend that.
Cannot comprehend
okay,
that.
by saying that, then I know we're getting off topic because we're gonna wrap up soon,
Yeah,
Marissa, because we
yeah.
didn't. So, and there's also the theory of the big crunch, right? So does that mean in the trillionth of a second, is it all gonna just compact in?
Yeah, we've heard that too. You know?
Or as Dr. Tyson said, it's just because of the expansion.
Yeah.
They were expanding so much that it's just a general cooling.
Isn't that crazy too with the whole expansion? Expansions from what? That like what?
That's the dark-
What is
that's-
exactly? That's what I'm saying. Like, what is that? That's what's fascinating. Like,
Yes.
what is it expanding from? But yeah, you've heard those theories too that we'll just crunch up and be back into that little pinhole size in a blink of an eye too.
And like I said, yesterday I spent most of the day over at Griffith Observatory, and I reached out to some people. Had a great chat with Dr. Danley, who she's kind of like the West Coast Dr. Tyson, and my brain is still broken. No, she was so genial, so wonderful, and we reached out and we're trying to get some people to come in and explain this all to us,
Right.
please, because we are super fans of the show, but in no means are we
No.
PhDs or we don't have a lot of letters, but we do have as a passion for cosmos. So
Yeah.
I don't know if we have any news or gossip or anything, but should we just move on to what to expect next week? See, we didn't even do predictions, Marissa. It's more like
And now,
what's going on next week.
I know. How can you do predictions?
I predict that we will learn more.
Actually, supposedly we're going to learn about. I saw a little flash of Einstein, and also it looked like about the explanation of speed of light.
Oh,
Yes,
that'll be fun.
Which I also think is really a whole interesting topic again, because that's our only way of being able to mark distance in the vast universe.
Yes.
I think it's really cool.
And instead of a prediction, I also want to send this out to the fans watching. Let us know who you'd like us to reach out to, because we will reach out to
Yes.
everyone. They may all say
Yes.
no, but I'm just saying we're going to reach out to them. All right. So, any other predictions? Anything to expect next week? Anything you'd like to see, Dillon? This is your first week here, so.
Man, I want to see so much. I just want to see everything.
You want to see everything?
Yeah.
So do we all.
I can't predict or anything. I'm just waiting and ready to watch.
I can't wait for quantum physics.
Ooh.
Yes.
Yes. I hope we get into
Oh
that.
man,
String theory.
That
and
really
things
hurts
like
my
that.
head
Ooh, man, that's
thinking
gonna
about
be
it.
fun.
All right,
Yeah.
so let's get out of here. So, all right, once again, Dillon, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Dillon Chance, and you can check out the Facebook page, facebook.com/A Cosmic Perspective.
Awesome,
And
awesome.
Scott?
You can find me on the old Twitter at sman80. That's SMAN80, and here on Monday nights for Archer and shows and after shows.
And Marissa, thank you once again. Where can they find you?
Yeah, of course. You can follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at Serafini TV.
And you can find me at JC Rubio TV on Instagram and Twitter. So for Marissa, Dillon, Scott, I'm JC. We're the Cosmos After Show. See you next week.
from executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.